Maybe movies. Oh, sorry, I was just really happy because we've actually managed to make it to the end of Act 2.
Oh, yes, we did.
Unfortunately, this is where the troubles really begin. Welcome.
How do? What is that?
Apparently this is Mogu Mogu.
Mogu Mogu.
It would appear that the powers that be have decided to send us Delirium Juice.
Ah, the power of random syllables.
Yeah. It looks like a meal in a bottle.
A meal in a bottle?
It's got bits.
Oh dear. I mean, is it oh dear?
It's actually very nice.
Okay then.
I'm not going to ask what the bits are.
No, I...
You think there might be Spider-Fan bits?
It's been quiet up there for a while.
Chewy. Anyway, hello!
Hello!
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thank you also to, again, our recent subscribers who are more than welcome.
Nice of you to join us.
And again, if you have just stumbled on us completely by chance or by accident or by design, doesn't really matter. Anyway, if you have just joined us, hello, thank you. We are Maybe Movies, and my name's Max.
I am Sam.
Please do all the usual. Please do like, do share the videos, and most importantly, please do subscribe because we'd love to have you on board.
Please join us.
What he said. So, we are up to Act 3 of our new vision of the game, which is called The Down, where we have taken certain elements. It's part of the setup from Falling Down, and we are now applying that to David Fincher's 1997 movie, The Game. As we have done for the rest of these ones, there will be a spoiler warning on screen, which actually I really like, so I think I might keep it on there all the time, because we do talk spoilers all the time.
We do talk a lot of spoilers. It's something we probably should have thought of a while ago.
Yes. But also the other reason I like it as well is because it might slightly mess with people's OCD, because it's like, there's a big red button with warning on it, and you just want to push it.
I should say that.
But before we launch into Act 3, we're going to do a shout-out, as we generally tend to do, and for today, it's going to be for our occasional resident who appears to have disappeared once more, Chris Smith, and for a film that he was producer on recently called Bushwhacker Blues.
Bushwhacker Blues, that's a great title. Like it already.
It is up on YouTube, and there will be a link to it in the description down there. So, Chris, we hope that you are okay, wherever it is that you are, and as always, there is a spare seat for you here as soon as you're ready.
Join us.
Okay, shall we?
Oh, popcorn. Popcorn.
Cheers.
Yeah, this gets...
Very complicated very quickly. There's one thing that I think we need to very quickly touch on from the end of the last act. Doesn't affect anything. Just wanted to acknowledge it. Because we had him go back to LA, where he met up with Christine. We just need to acknowledge that we would have to have put something else in place of his cabin in the woods. Because in the original film, they're in San Francisco, and they go out to that cabin in the woods, which obviously...
So it's her cabin in the woods, or it's her friend's cabin in the woods, or...
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we just need to acknowledge that.
Which makes sense, because Baer behind everything, so he will have supplied all of this stuff.
Bring him to here.
Yeah. So, to nod to the original plot, it's actually Baer's fishing cabin. You remember the conversation I used to go fishing with your father?
Yeah.
So, even though Nicholas has never been there, his father was, so it's a nice little dig at him.
Do we still get the stuff when he goes to her apartment and it's fake? Or is that, or do we lose that? Is it just he happens to be there and then the mercenaries turn up to try and kill him? Because do we then want to have, he's at the fishing cabin and he finds a picture of his dad with Baer. He's already taken the drug, he's already had the poison tea by then.
Yeah.
But do we want to drop it in there, or do we still want to keep him
Instead
on the
of the phone call from his lawyer saying your stuff is safe,
yeah,
it would be him noticing the photograph that makes him suspicious of Christine.
Yeah, she's here with him, and there's a photo of Baer and his dad fishing.
Yeah, I like that.
So we're going into Act 3 with him knowing who's behind this. Or knowing that he's in that there is a connection there. He doesn't know that he's definitely behind it.
No, because otherwise he doesn't have anything to go on, does he?
Yeah.
He has nothing to go on and no one to go after.
So
because we don't have Fine Gold and other people like that for him to track down.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to have some idea who his adversary is. Yes, I think so. I think we need it there, actually,
okay,
for it to make any kind of sense.
So are we going to have a big reveal then that we actually see him, or are we going to keep that confrontation for Act 3?
Right, okay. Well, actually, no, we need to ask ourselves a question. What is Baer's goal here? Does he want to see him kill himself? Does he want to just financially ruin him? Because that's going to answer the question. Like, if it's just to financially ruin him, at this point, he's got everything he needs. He can stand and gloat, because he's won. If he wants Nicholas's life, then he might stay further back.
I think somebody like that. He's a businessman. What's going to hurt Nicholas more, the loss of his life or living with nothing?
Precisely. I have to admit, that's where I was leaning. Yes, dumping him in Mexico is definitely part of the plan. For starters, it gives them the time he needs to completely clean out all of his accounts, but also leaves him completely helpless in a foreign situation where he no longer has funds or the power necessary to make things happen.
Yes, and there's a wonderful line that we can lift from the original film. It's right at the end when they have the big party for Nicholas's birthday, and he goes up and has a quick chat with him, and he goes to apologise, and he's like, no, and he says, I've never been happier in my whole life. And it's just even the way, it's just that actor, it's just the way he delivers it. It sounds like the kind of thing like a villain would say at the apex of his victory, you know. And it's just, you can just see him saying that to him just as he's fading out of consciousness. Which eventually does, sorry, bit of a sidetrack, but yeah, does bring us into Act 3.
It brings us into Act 3, so we have him presumably waking up in a coffin somewhere in a cemetery in Mexico.
Does he have his watch?
Well, this is a question we have to ask ourselves. I think yes, because movie.
Yeah.
We need it to happen. I can see in his gloating over the fruition of his scheme, he might overlook something so simple as a watch that could easily fund a trip back to America.
Equally, it could be he leaves it on purpose because he's lost everything else. This is the last thing.
And you have to give it up yourself.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that.
The first thing that we need to think about here then is, I'm guessing that the border security guy, or the guy at the embassy that he speaks to, I'm guessing must work for CRS, because he takes the bribe to get him back over the border for the watch, which is how they've got the watch at the end to give back to him.
Did they give the watch back to him?
I'm sure he doesn't lose the watch. I'm sure he gets it back. Although, does he?
I don't remember seeing anyone
No,
give
you're
him
right.
that watch back.
That's in my head.
In fact, I think it's rather much the point of the game. It's about giving up on all of that old shit.
It's a catharsis you need to be able to move on from it. Yeah. Okay, so no, he does. Okay, so maybe not. So because I just suddenly thought, oh yeah, well he must be, because it's part of the game. They need him to get back in LA. So is this guy part of it?
I never could come to a satisfactory conclusion whether he was genuine or not. I think he was genuine. I think he was like, dude, you've got a really expensive watch. You can go anywhere you want right now.
Okay, so that actually makes things a bit easier, because that was my first kind of stumbling block, is like, if he's not, as we haven't got CRS and he's not in on it to get him back over, he's not assisting him to get back, shit, how the hell did he get out of Mexico? But then we can allow that. We've got precedent from the original movie that gets him back over the border.
The guy at the embassy didn't take a bribe. He said, you can use that to get back to America. The guy travelled illegally across the border. I might be wrong, but I'm reasonably sure that he had to do it the hard way.
I kind of got the impression was, give me the watch, I will get you across the border, from there you're on your own. That's how I read it. I mean, it doesn't really matter either way. Either way, he's going to get across. We've got him back across.
So, home.
His plan here is to get back and exact his revenge. Although it must have been the most recent time that I watched this, when there's that little scene of him asleep in the truck that's taken him after he's done the bit in the diner, and there's a bit when he's asleep in the truck.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think about him now, I did for a moment find myself back at the start of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and did make me wonder: was he observing the rules of the road?
Yeah. So right, he gets home.
Breaks back into his house.
Mm-hmm. Takes a cold shower.
Mm-hmm. There, finds his gun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh! He's coming from Mexico. He's going to hit LA before he hits San Francisco, so he's never going to go home.
Mm-hmm. Yep, good point, yes.
Oh, fantastic foreshadowing.
Uh-huh.
You know, he just very briefly last time said he's going to have to ditch the gun before he goes back to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
He's ditched it somewhere he can find it again, without even knowing that he's done it.
I like it. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
How nice.
Layers, baby. Like a fucking onion. Have a star. Yeah. That solves one problem we had.
Yes. But it's also quite nice as well, because this one is because we can afford to ramp it up quickly to a shorter third act, so there's no problem at all. So he goes and gets the gun. Shall we say then that instead of breaking into his home, he breaks into Baer's factory after hours, looking for it?
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a good start. Maybe maybe he's thinking to break into his office looking for proof of whatever Baer's done.
Yes, that makes sense. So obviously in this setup as well, we've lost the guy from CRS, the actor, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So we don't have...
Feingold, yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear, this is going to be tricky.
We have a break point, I think.
Well, no, not necessarily.
Okay.
Because we can cheat the same kind of idea as when he went to the Chinese takeaway. So it's just here he finds something that will lead him to where he's been running this operation from.
How?
Oh, no, because he uses that to call his agent, doesn't he? And that's where...
Mm-hmm. And it's all Feingold anyway. We don't have Feingold. Basically, the third act of the original movie hinges on Feingold, and we don't have Feingold. Now, it's perfectly reasonable to assume that Nicholas knows Baer's home address.
Yes.
That's an option.
Mm-hmm.
He could just go to Baer's house with the gun. Or he could try to track Christina down again.
So unless here she is actually one of his employees in some respect, and there is her real address in here.
But again, where does that lead us from her being an employee to him knowing how to find her?
Has her employee record, has her address on it?
He only got her first name.
And unless there's a picture of her on her resume, which might not be.
And why would he be going through all the employee records in the first place?
The only thing I can think of is if he finds a file that almost like from the Mission Impossible episodes where you get the bit where he's pulling out all the different files of who he wants to use on a particular job.
Oh, that could work. That could work.
Because then there may be some other people that were involved in this entire thing.
He doesn't find any concrete proof of Baer's actions, but he finds the dossier that is clearly indicating his plan.
Yeah. The private investigator might be in there and people like that.
The limousine driver, things like that, but also possibly locations.
Mm.
Like, Van Orton will be staying at such and such.
Oh, this
Looking for
hotel.
suites.
Yeah.
You know, things that are coincidental. Not enough to I could take this to the police, but enough that Nicholas and us know.
No.
This is my dossier of my crime sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Would he try and contact his lawyer?
I want to say yes. I also want to say that his lawyer informs him that he's wanted by the police for various illegal, sketchy financial transactions. Something that means that he can't go back to his lawyer. Because we don't want him to run away to safety.
No, we don't. No.
If a man's entire financial history, as he said himself, payrolls, pensions,
$600 million, isn't it?
$600 million, other people's lives.
Yes.
He'll be wanted by the police.
It feels like it's leading up to a showdown at Baer's house.
Right. Okay. The question we've contrived the reason that he might know Christine's address. Mm-hmm. So the question is he going to go to her first, or is he going to go directly to Baer to confront him?
Instead of him going to, obviously we get the bit where he goes to his house and there's no one there, he goes to Baer house and no one's there. He's retired. He's going off on a long cruise until the heat dies off. So he then has to go to Christine because she might know where he's going.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. No, I think that works.
Yeah.
I do think that works.
Brilliant. And then she will then hope, or he hopes that she will lead him to Baer.
Basically, she's fulfilling the role that Feingold fulfills in the original version.
Yeah.
So he's got to, you show me, take me to him now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care where he is. You know something. I
want to look behind the curtain. I want to meet the wizard, doesn't it? In this one, you can say, I want to meet the dancing bear.
Well, it's one of those things that we could theoretically include in the film as a motif, that the dancing bear logo appears multiple times throughout things. Mm-hmm. maybe he won't notice them, but we might.
Yes.
And so when it comes to it, and I want to be, I want to be the dancing bear.
So now we just need to decide, where is our showdown going to be? I want to say on a yacht. For some reason, he's going to go on a cruise with his family. Just go away.
He did say sailing or something like that, didn't he? Just go sailing with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why not? The previous script gave it to us. We might as well take it.
How do you want to play this? Does he catch up with them as they're leaving? Does he get there early before they've left? Secrete himself on the boat, but that's not going to work.
I imagine that they haven't left the docks yet.
Okay.
So they're still in the harbour.
Mm-hmm. And imagining low security, if any at all, because he doesn't expect him to come back.
Yeah.
So it'll be just them on the boat.
Yes, because otherwise we start turning into an action movie at this point, and I'm not sure if we want to do this.
So there'll just be maybe the crew of the yacht. It depends on whether he. I mean, I'm imagining it's being an ocean-going yacht, so there will be crew of some description.
Yeah. But I mean, like even a yacht only takes one or two crew.
And he catches up with them there just as they're about to set off.
I imagine it's simple. He arrives at the dock. So maybe the guy's getting ready to unmoor and things like that. And it's just step away.
So there'll be Baer, there'll be his wife and his daughter as well.
Yeah, of course.
So how unhinged are we making Nicholas at this point? Would he threaten his family, or would he say they can go? Because again, we still don't know what's happened to Conrad. Conrad's just kind of disappeared out of the thing.
Yes, he has. He's totally like Feingold has just disappeared. We have found no use for him in the plot.
Mm-hmm. Again, sorry, Sean.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. It depends how you want to end it.
That's the thing.
If we want to end it one way, we want the daughter there. If we don't, then we don't. I can't imagine Baer being entirely alone.
So again, it depends. Is Baer going to go, this is between us, don't involve my family? To which he could then reply, well, you've involved mine with, driving that imaginary wedge between him and Conrad with the photos.
Mm. Yeah, you interfered in my family. Why shouldn't I interfere in yours?
Yeah.
So, yes, I think the daughter is there. How do we want this to go? Do we want to have a quote-unquote happy ending where everybody lives? Or do we have to have something darker?
I don't know. I must admit, I'm a bit stumped on this one.
I'll give you my reasoning. So my reasoning is that if we wanted a happier ending, we would have the daughter react with absolute horror to finding out what her father's done to this man.
Oh.
And laying a proper guilt trip on him, which would ultimately, after a number of factors, lead to a happy ending where everybody gets to walk away.
I like your idea. I like your idea that she is horrified by all of this.
Mm. It's a hard one, isn't it?
It is a hard one, because you kind of feel like somebody needs to get their comeuppance.
It does. But it could be like, this is the walking, it's almost the opposite of falling down. It's walking right up to the edge, but never actually stepping over.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely.
Oh, thank you. All right.
That just adds a whole undercurrent to the whole film. No, that's fantastic.
I will take that. I'm kind of imagining that Baer's gone on a power trip as well as Nicholas,
mm-hmm.
and they're both having a dick waving contest, as they like to say, and then the daughter just going, "You did what?" Mm-hmm. And maybe just making him realise he's being a dick.
Yeah.
He really has punched this man more than enough.
Okay, I think that works. That would work to diffuse the situation. I suppose at this point, we would have to have at least somebody. One of the guys would have got away and have raised the alarm, so the police arrive.
Uh-huh.
There's madman with a gun. He's just taken over this boat. So you'd get harbour patrol out so that they can't leave anywhere. So we still keep up that tension, that third act tension. Is there a scuffle between them?
If we're going with the daughter affecting him, then there isn't going to be a scuffle. I'm going to say what happens is the police and the Coast Guard turn up to arrest Nicholas,
mm-hmm.
and it's Baer who steps off the boat and holds his hands to be cuffed.
Yeah, I like it.
It's like it's very low key, but there's a poetry to it.
So do they take Christine away as well?
That's up for us to decide whether or not there was anything between Nicholas and Christine in the first place. Because if there was, this would be the moment when he speaks in her defence.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, yeah. Which I like. I like that. Because it ends reasonably quickly, so we just have to assume that he patches things up with Conrad afterwards, I suppose.
So like, he's done the thing and he's like, no, it's not her fault. She's not involved.
Yeah.
And then he takes her to one side and it's like, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing after this, but would you like to get a cup of coffee? Gotta call my brother first though.
Mm-hmm.
Cuts black.
Nice. Nice. I do also notice with the original film, there's a nice little full circle moment in there as well, where you get that first moment where she says anything nice to him. It's when she's in the cab. I think I said the attractive guy in the grey suit.
Yeah.
And then it ends the film in the cab as well.
Oh, I never noticed that. That's good call. Yes. Yeah, nice.
I did also notice very quickly before we wrap, there is a slight moment at the end when just before his ex-wife leaves, where her new husband is holding Rachel, their daughter, or the little girl. She says, "By Rachel, sweet dreams," or something.
Yes.
And he just kind of strokes her hair. So I'm guessing it must be his daughter.
I'm guessing it's not really implicit in any way, but that was my take.
Yeah, I'd forgotten just about that little moment. Is there? So there is some kind of acknowledgement.
Yeah,
fantastic.
We made it to the end of the movie, goddammit, and we didn't break it.
Dead. So, again, as always, please do let us know what you think, whether you'd have done it slightly differently. And more importantly, come back in 2 days' time when we will be launching into Act 1 of our new vision of Falling Down, which is called Falling Game.
Let the good times roll.
Oh, dear. Until then, take care.
As always, guys, DTFN.
Ba 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 ba.